This is The Boosts.
Hey, have you got the gist?
Don't miss the Saturday gist. I love the gist.
I love the gist.
This is
Get the Gist Chat Show with TheBoost.
Welcome to this podcast.
It is the first episode of the chat show called Get the Gist with The Boosts. Are you ready for the gist? This is gonna be good. Welcome, listeners. We're happy that everybody is here for the first ever episode of Get the Gist Chat Show with The Boosts. And right here in front of me is a very, very respectable young lady. She has been so good in many areas, a friend that we know so well. And you could notice that she's also someone that you could relate with. She's very young and very talented. Her name is Zeno Laura. Zeno Laura, welcome to the program. Now, before we start, let me just intimate our listeners to who Zeno is exactly. So Zeno is a model. Alright? She's also that special person you want to meet every time you have a special occasion. You know, that person that fixes your face up and makes you look good. She's a makeup artist. She's also a talent, real talent, considering what she's learning in the university. She is a pre-BSc talent as we speak, and she studies history. Can you imagine that? Interesting. I tell you, from my conversation with her, she's a cool historian. And guess what? She's great in the kitchen. Are you looking for Nigerian jollof rice or any special African dishes? Wait around to get the full gist. This is Get the Gist Chat Show with The Boost. Welcome, Laura.
Hi, good morning.
We are so happy to be here. We are pumped to have you among us. We have so much to talk about. The gist is just about getting started. Are you ready? I see you smiling. Interested. So let me get right into it. You know, I already mentioned your name, but you tell us what exactly is your name, because I know there is a fuller version of that name.
My name is 𝐆𝐄𝐓 Zeno Laura, but I'm popularly known as Zeno Laura on Instagram.
Where were you born and which city did you grow up in?
Okay, so I was born in Delta State. I grew up in Warri.
Warri!
The prestigious Warri that does not like to carry last in anything. Basically, I grew up in Warri, Delta State.
You know, there is always this saying, Warri, no, they take last. Wow. So what was it like growing up in your city? What was it like growing up in Warri?
Okay, it was basically just a very quiet place. Like where I stayed wasn't very lively, but whenever I wanted to have fun, we could always go out. It was just a cool area with friends and family around, my aunts and uncles. It was just a very peaceful background over there.
It seems to be a normal life, but you actually learn a lot in such a place, I know. So if you're to mention one thing you learned way back those days that is still useful for you today, what will it be?
Cooking.
Fact.
Yeah, cooking. I learned a lot while I was staying with my grandma, my aunts and my uncles. I really learned a lot from them and some other friends that used to come around then. Yeah.
I remember mine too, something close to that.
I learned a lot. So cooking, that's one of the skills that I still hold on to now.
Fact.
I'm forever grateful to all the people that I picked up something from.
We usually have one thing we get back from our place. And you know, things like that, we don't let them go for a very long time. It sticks with us. It takes us back home. So as a kid, when you were growing up as a kid, what were those passions you had?
I've always wanted to be a fashion designer, commonly known as a tailor. Like I remember I used to have like a scrapbook where I used to keep all the designs that I saw from cartoons Like I used to watch Barbie a lot. I would draw so many fine and pretty gowns that when I grow up, I'm going to have a very big shop, employ workers that will sew, and then I'm going to have a small additional makeup studio for people to come, because that was also something I really liked. Yeah, so basically fashion designing and makeup. Those were all the things I wanted to be while I was a kid. I've always wanted to be like that.
Yeah, those little lights, that sparks. It must have given you the drive to who you are today. But let me ask you, were the resources you had back then able to boost you to follow your passion, the passions you had as a kid?
Not really. Because at one point, like after I wrote my 𝑤𝐒, I was still home. So my mom enrolled me to start learning tailoring. But it wasn't really going well. I was learning, but it was quite slow. And one thing with tailoring is you need to have a very good machine, or you just have to have a machine basically. So when you're not in this shop, you can just be learning and be practicing. But I didn't have any machine at that point. There was no money to buy one.
How did you get around that?
It didn't really go well at that point, so I couldn't really do the tailoring.
I know that must have hit you hard. As a kid, I wanted to wear good clothes. One of the good things I had to do about my life was to wear good clothes. And interestingly, my mom was a seamstress when I was very young. Yeah, she's still, although she's a retired seamstress. She doesn't sew anymore. But that's a very good skill. That's a very good skill set to have at a tender age. At times, for some persons, you don't end up following the passion you had as a kid. So what are you most passionate about now?
Okay, so tailoring didn't really go well at that point. So I left it a little. Right now, I'm really passionate about face modeling. Like, it's basically what I do right now.
This is huge. Laura, but this is huge. How did this all start?
It all started with the lockdown. During the lockdown, being home, having nothing to do, and I wasn't in school, so money had reduced. So let's just say I just needed a little money, just take care of some expenses and to find something to do. And face modeling was something I liked, since it was also in the line of makeup. Since I don't have the facilities to wear people makeup, or I'm not so good at it like that, I can also wear people's makeup and sell it out there for them. And around that period, a friend of mine just posted on our WhatsApp status that she just opened a modeling agency. I was like, wow, nice. And I chatted her up, I want to model. And she was like, okay. She gave me all the procedures, the forms, and I filled them. And that's how it all started.
I see why you're looking good. Oh, interesting. Yeah, I get it. It's a big deal. Modeling is a whole new thing. But what really do you like about modeling?
I like the fact that it makes me more pretty. There's this confidence it comes with, knowing that you're about to wear somebody's product, somebody's makeup, and they expect you to look good in it. And especially when you look good with it, they will feel so happy. There's this joy and satisfaction that you get from making them happy. And it's something I like makeup, so wearing it is no issue for me. I just like the fine pictures that comes with it, the experience. Yes, you get to work with so many makeup artists and photographers, really nice people, and you get to meet other people and learn a lot. I learn a lot from so many people that I've worked with.
Are you working with any modeling brand now? Which one is it that you're working with presently?
I'm working with an agency at 𝐆𝐄 Models. Please follow us on Instagram. We will surely follow you back.
It's about time you go follow the handle. I've been taking a look at your Instagram page, and you're really coming off strong. Yeah, that's super good. That's good. Okay, I see you. Now let's shift thought a little bit. Let's talk about your field of studies. What are you studying in the university?
I'm basically studying history and international studies right now. When I first got admission and I knew that was the course I was going to be studying, at first I was like, it's going to be very boring. But funny enough, it's not. When people hear history, all they think about is dates and centuries and decades. But it's not really like that. It's interesting. Get to learn more about the history of other people. Okay, you say you want to be a lawyer. Okay, who was the first lawyer? How did it start? Where did this whole law thing start from? You know, you get to learn about folk tales, romantic stories, how some wars were conquered, some territories were conquered. You basically get to learn about a lot. Nigeria, West Africa as a whole, even America, Russia. Really, really interesting stories out there. Yeah. So that's basically it. Like, we get artifacts and we keep them and store them. We gather facts. We don't just talk. Like, before we speak, we make sure that yes, this thing is very correct. We're precise. It's a cool field of study, Sha. It's a very nice one.
But you're really strong and you're actually working hard. You know, you're working as a model and you're into makeup and stuff. How are you able to shoulder your education and your passion and your talent? How are you able to do all of that?
While I was in school, I hadn't started the modeling thing, so it wasn't really much of an issue right then. I was just doing it like just help a friend, yeah. But right now, I just feel going back to school and trying to balance school and whatever I like, my passions and talents. It just has to do with discipline and determination. Like, I have to set the time. When it's time for my school, I have to face it. When it's time for modeling, I have to face it. I'm just trying to balance it. It's all about hard work and self-determination.
Fact.
You can surely do it if you say you want to do it, and that's just the plain truth.
And that is key. Yeah, that's key. That's key. No wonder you've been going off strong. And I'm pretty sure you're doing well. It's already showing all over you. You're doing well. And I'm going to come to the best side of the story for me. The food. I need some good gist. You know, we did some research about you. And we realized, like you also said yourself, that you are good at kitchen. We actually did findings. Some persons said the same thing too. But let's hear from you. What are your specialties? What are those yummy things you do?
Oh, cooking. I love food, first of all. To all of you out there, I love food. I am a big foodie. To all of those people that know me. I basically like cooking our local dishes. Owo soup and starch. You should have heard of it. Banga and starch. Okay, my specialty is actually stew. Like, I like preparing stew. Everything about it is just amazing. Like, from the seasoning of the meat to the frying, you know, the whole mixture with ginger, garlic. There's more.
I bet you have a whole lot of recipes right now. Laura, I hope you're generous enough to help a brother out.
Yes, I will surely give you recipes. Trust me, I will give you recipes on that one.
Alright. I see you. Okay, so at this point, we'd like to take a little break and then we'll resume after just a short break. But when we'll come back, we'll take some of the questions from our listeners. Is that right? Okay, let's do it.
You're still listening to Get the Gist Chat Show with TheBoost. Follow us on Instagram
and subscribe to our YouTube channel, TheBoost.
You're still listening to Get the Gist Chat Show with TheBoost.
You're still listening to Get the Gist Chat Show with TheBoost. You're still listening to Get the Gist Chat Show with TheBoost.
You're still listening to Get the Gist Chat Show with TheBoost.
You're still listening to Get the Gist Chat Show with TheBoost.
Alright, listeners, welcome back to TheBoost. It's a Saturday chat show with the boost. Don't miss out on the gist. Gist is good. Oh Lord, I love gist. All right. Here with us is still our special guest today, Laura, in the first ever episode of the Get the Gists with the Boosts, a regular Saturday chat show. So we've talked a lot about you, your personality, your school, your upbringing and your passion, and why you actually love being so great with regards to what you're doing right now, what makes you different. We've also talked about your food, the specialties that you have, which I'm looking forward to one of the recipe. But in all of this, here is a question from one of our listeners. The person is asking, Laura, are you self-taught or did you need to get some training to become who you are today?
I'm self-taught because I remember I used to watch a lot of YouTube videos, and sometimes I would just see someone carrying a particular kind of makeup on her face, and I would just wonder, what if it's like this, and then I'll try it on my sibling's face. And that's how I just kept practicing. And at one point, I was actually making money from it, but I just decided to focus on my face modeling more. But I still kept learning every single time. I kept learning and picking up things from different people. That's just it. You have to keep learning.
And that's right.
So I would say I'm self-taught. I didn't really register for any classes to get to where I am right now.
I see what makes you so good at what you do. Now here is the second question. How did you get the courage to start up and put yourself out there? I bet this question is coming from a female friend of yours. How did you get the courage to start up and put yourself out there, especially in the modeling sector and all of that?
Well, like I said, it's all about the passion. If you really want to do something, you put in all your best and make sure you find a way to get there. At first, I wasn't really serious with it. I just had it as a dream, like I was going to be a fashion designer and I was going to somehow work in the line of makeup. Whatever it has to do, I just wanted to be in the line of makeup, and face modeling came along. So yeah, it took a lot of courage. At first I was like, okay, will people be okay with it? What if people don't like me? And I signed up with an agency. What if I never get picked to like go for a modeling job? Or what if my skin becomes bad? I won't be able to do it again at some point. I had some fears. At some point I didn't even want to do it. I spoke to a lot of people. I spoke to my mom, my brother, and they all said, okay, as long as I know my priorities, I should go up for it. So yeah, it took a lot of courage, and I really wanted to do something. So it took a lot of courage. That passion that I had to do the face modeling and just get involved in the whole makeup industry. That was what pushed me to take a step, and that's it right now.
Yeah, so what hurdles did you personally face and how did you overcome them?
When I first started my face modeling, I got a lot of people telling me, this makeup is too much now. How can you be carrying this kind of makeup? This makeup is somehow, yeah. So I just, at some point when I would post some pictures of the work I did, like the makeup of other people that I was carrying, some makeup artists, I used to like get some negative comments from some people. While I will have a lot of people sharing me like, oh wow, this is fine, hope they are paying you, you're doing well. I'll still get a lot of people telling me, I don't think your makeup is too much. Do you really have to post it? Do you really have to do this and do that?
Very usual.
Yeah, those were some of the things that turned me down. So sometimes when I got jobs, I'll have to be like, I don't think I'm going to go for this one, or I'd rather not just post it. But I just looked at it. I looked at it as people come with different opinions.
Fact.
Yeah, and as long as you're not doing what is wrong, you're not offending anyone, and it's a very simple line of career. So I just put it in mind that I knew I wasn't doing anything wrong and people were free to their opinions. So I just decided to stick to what I was doing. Yeah, I decided to stick to what I was doing.
That's right.
and I was free-minded, that everybody is entitled to their own opinions.
Fact.
And that gave me courage. And sometimes when I go for a job and I come back and it's really fine, I personally have the courage that I did something worthwhile. Like, I didn't spend my time in a wrong way. So thinking about it just makes me energized, and I want to go for another shoot or another modeling job. And the fact that I meet other people too. I've had a lot of experiences with makeup artists and photographers, and it has made the whole experience nice.
And that's true. In the journey, it's not always smooth. And how we can relate in Nigeria, considering the state of our country's road, we'll never have a smooth journey. At least not in some parts of the country anyway. All right. So here is this very interesting question. I hope you're waiting for this one. Okay. So here is it. Now, somebody is asking, what is your biggest failure? And what did you learn from it? Wow, this is deep. Tell us about it, please.
Okay, so I'm going to take us way back to my tailoring. When I started learning tailoring, I wasn't really serious with it. Apart from the fact that I didn't have a machine at home, I was just basically doing things in the shop where I was learning. I didn't go home to practice things on my own or think about, what if I do this? What if I create this style and all? I was just focused on things that we did at the shop, and I didn't really progress in that area that much. So one lesson I've learned from there, and that was what gave me the determination to continue my face modeling. When I go for face modeling, before I go for a shoot, I will think of different styles. I'll try and imagine, like, okay, is there something I can do to make my skin better? I just want to make sure that I stand out there. Like, if I'm going for a shoot, I need to make sure I nail it. I don't just sit back and wait for when I have a shoot. No, I prepare myself in advance. I want to always be ever ready, which is something I didn't do when I was learning tailoring. I just sat back and waited for whatever instructions I had from my boss that I was learning from. So my whole experience with tailoring just made me more what's the word? More focused, more determined to continue doing what I'm doing. So that's it.
So what advice will you give someone who wishes to pursue a career similar to yours?
If you really want to go for face modeling, you just have to set your priorities straight. Like, okay, these are the kind of shoots I'll go for. I will not go beyond this, and this is my territory. This is something I'm good at. And if possible, I feel it would be better if one should work as a freelancer. That's, you get to decide what kind of job you want to go for. What you get to be in control of your time and all. Working with an agency is very nice, it's very perfect, but starting up as a freelancer, you get to meet a lot of people based on your own connections and all. Though for some people they would rather start with an agency so that they'll get to be known by a lot of people. But either way, it's still fine. And it just has to do with, like I said, determination. That's just the key word. Determination goes a lot. It goes a lot in any career that you're going for.
And the younger generation of our time are really people who are hardworking and they aspire for great things. How would you advise them, some of the youths who are not actually doing well, some of them who are not well informed about pursuing a career that they have passion for? Because many persons today, they have passion for a different thing and they end up following the older generation's guidance into something that they've not done. They don't really they don't really want to do. Like I was speaking to one university student. Now she wanted to learn this course, but the mom and the dad actually said no, take this. And then perhaps her grade did not allow her to go to the course she wanted. She had to stay back to this, but that's not what she wanted. This thing keeps happening. What advice do you have for some of these youths who are not well informed to actually have a sit down and to really think about following their passion, what they really like to do?
If you want to go for any career at all, you need to be prepared to to face negative comments from people, and you need to just be well grounded in whatever you are doing. Don't just jump into a career. Prepare your mind that this is what you're going to do, and no matter what comes along the line, you're going to set your priorities straight so that you don't get mixed up. Just prepare yourself for negative comments and just find a way to overcome them, and that has to do with you being confident. So if you're not confident about what you're doing, there's no way you're going to be happy with whatever you're doing, and that's just the plain truth. So if you know there's something you really like, don't just sit back and expect things to just work out as planned. No, you have to make efforts, reach out to people, have discussions with people, meaningful discussions, go online, read about it, advantages and disadvantages. You cannot just sit down and expect things to work out. No. So whatever you want to do, tailoring, face modeling, you have any other dream, or hairstyling, you have to put in a lot of effort. You cannot just sit down and expect things to work out. You have to put in a lot of effort. So this is my advice out there. Just be prepared for whatever comes and keep learning. That's the key. You have to keep learning every single time. Do not let any opportunity skip. You just have to use whatever opportunity you have to learn something that will add to your career. And you need to look for ways to put yourself out there, and you surely make some sacrifices along the line. So you have to be prepared, and don't just sit down. Don't sit down. Look for ways to be exposed and learn things whenever you have the opportunity to.
It's been so nice to have this gist with you. I've learned a lot actually from this. Thank you very much for your time. Where can our listeners connect with you, Laura? I know some of our listeners may likely want to connect with you. So where can they connect with you online?
On IG, on Instagram. You can connect with me on Instagram at Zino Laura. That's my page. You get to see different pictures of my work that I've done with several makeup artists, and you get a link in my bio to my modeling agency to book a model.
Okay. Now, and I have one last question for you before we come to the end of our episode. It's been so nice having this conversation. So let me ask, what do you think about the TheBoost podcast channel? What do you think about our channel?
I feel it's a very wonderful and inspiring channel. Like, I didn't really know about it until some few days ago. I feel if people get to hear the stories of different guests or people that come to the show, they'll be really inspired, because there are lots of people out there who have gone to different heights by just making simple efforts. Yeah, so I feel the channel is a very nice one that has good motives and intentions to inspire people and to make people reach out for their dreams and passions. It's a really nice one, and I appreciate the fact that they took the initiative to create such a channel to reach out to people.
It's been such a nice conversation. It's been a wonderful moment having you with us here, Laura. Thank you very much. Zeno, thank you for stopping by, and thank you for sharing your thoughts and your experiences with us. I know so many of our listeners out there have gotten one or two lessons about following their passion and sticking right on to the end despite the challenges. Sometimes what I learned today is we may be having passions as kids, but while growing up, some changes could happen. But then we still choose what we want to do. Even when we grow up, we still stick to the passion despite the changes, right? Doing that has helped you to, surmount many of the obstacles you said you have before. And even when you weren't unsure at the time, you have been able to pull through. And now you're rolling on it. I wish you all the best. And I'm hoping to hear more from you, Laura. Thank you.
Thanks for listening to this episode.
Come back tomorrow for a fresh and new episode.
Follow us on Instagram
and subscribe to our YouTube channel, TheBoost.